Praying for the blessings. We are back with another video. Alright, before I begin, a couple quick announcements. If you are interested in booking a spiritual consultation or spiritual reading, I offer various different types of readings. I offer Eclipse demonic readings, Santa Muerte readings, shadow work readings, which is always a great place to start, especially when you're looking for a sense of purpose and direction as far as what type of ritual work should I be doing. Unlocking and uncovering the shadow or the hidden self, so you're able to see exactly what needs you need to be addressing. And we're going to keep stressing that. Ritual work should be based on needs first. And as I said before, many people are always focusing on their wants. And sometimes that distraction of focusing on your wants can create huge problems for you on your spiritual path. Okay? So, any of those aforementioned readings, also Egyptian oracle readings, deity readings, to see what spirits, gods, and goddesses walk with you, or maybe you're just interested in a spiritual consultation. And again, people use a spiritual consultation just to have a free-for-all, an hour or so session with me, and a lot of people just come with a list of questions. They just have a bunch of things they want to ask, or some want to focus on specific aspects of the path, or maybe they got something going on in their life and they want to focus exclusively on that particular situation. You can use the consultation for anything you decide. All right, for any of the aforementioned, shoot me an email, khnm19@gmail.com. All right. Also, if you want to sign up for classes, the way to do that is go to the official Primordial Chaos Patreon page, patreon.com/Baniti, Baniti tier 3. That's the tier you want to join. That's going to give you access to all of the private classes. I do 3 every month on Patreon for Patreon members only, including a group ritual at the end of the month. And also when you join, you don't just get access to the classes from the day you join moving forward. You get access to everything in the archive, which is going 4+ years back. All right, you get also access to all of that ritual work, all the group work we do in the classes. I have a bunch of ongoing series right now. I have an Ancient Egyptian Vampiric class, Left-Hand Path, Norse Mythology and Runes class, the Plepothic Yoga, Kundalini, and Meditation Awakening class. I have the Esoterical Occult Bible Study class, Sith Dark Side Alchemy and Philosophy class. Sorry about that. Klepothic Sorcery class. I have the Luciferian Magic and Self-Mastery class. These are all ongoing series with constant classes being added to them. The Necromancy and Dark Witchcraft class. I mean, you name it. Where I'm attacking as many of these areas of study that I can. Eastern Left-Hand Path Occult class, which we just did one of those not too long ago. The Shadow Work class, which is about 20 classes and counting. And I'm constantly adding new classes and new content. Now, the way it works, when you join, when the live classes happen, you get a private Zoom link. You can attend live via Zoom, where you can interact with me, ask me questions, and everybody else in the room you can interact with. If you can't make it live, don't worry. Everything is archived and recorded. And it's hard to fit everybody's time, days and schedule, because everybody on the Patreon is from different parts of the world and live in different time zones. So it's literally impossible to set a time where everybody can come. But people come when they're able to. So you just come when you're able to. All right. So check it out. Patreon.com/Baniti, Baniti tier 3. That's the tier you want to join. Okay. Also, don't forget to check out the Primordial Chaos social media pages. Primordial Chaos 9, all one word, on Instagram. Primordial Chaos 2 words on Facebook. I also upload all the new YouTube content to the Facebook page. And also on TikTok at Primordial Chaos. Okay, I think it's Primordial Chaos 3, the handle. I gotta get that out. But just search me on TikTok, and the TikTok content is slowly but surely building up. I put updates, classes. I also upload all the first 10 minutes of all the new videos and classes that I shoot. I do upload those to TikTok. So we got 3 platforms that you can keep abreast of what I'm doing as far as classes, events. Speaking of events, mark your calendar. October 2024, 7th annual Journey of the Black Adept Conference. Believe it or not, this is the 7th straight year we'll be doing this. That will be in the 3rd or 4th week in October. More to come on that as I get later in the summer. I'll be able to set an exact date for that conference, but it's definitely either the 3rd or the 4th week in October. All right. Also, don't forget to check out the Primordial Chaos podcast. You can listen to all the new content in MP3, MP4 audio format when you're just hanging out in the house, or maybe you're exercising, walking in the park, driving in the car, whatever. You can now just listen to the audio versions of these classes too. All right. Having said that, whether it's the direct link for the podcast, my contact email address, all the social media page links, and the direct link for the Primordial Chaos Patreon page to sign up for classes, all of those links are in the description box of this video that you're watching. It's not going to be a long video at all. I just want to talk about the filming of this video as of the date today, April 2nd, 2024. And I know everybody is talking about April 8th and the eclipse. Some are talking about it, with reason, common sense, and wisdom, and some are just spoken the fuck out. Okay? People, do your research. To just throw these theoretical doomsday things out there is ridiculous to me. Okay? Yes, anything can happen. Power grid. I mean, there's some people who are going so fanatical, they're stocking survival supplies, and you should be doing that anyway. You shouldn't be waiting for an eclipse. You should have at least an X amount of years of survival food. I've been telling people that shit for years, and don't tell too many people of what you got and where you're at, because then they'll come get your shit if something goes down. But you shouldn't be waiting for some so-called cataclysmic event, which, by the way, isn't going to happen the way these fools are promoting it. But it's like I said, you got to start holding these people accountable that say this shit. Then they get a free pass, and nobody questions people on this shit. When there's some event or something that somebody takes and makes it into something it's not, hold these motherfuckers accountable. Okay? Stop letting them say shit that sounds good in the moment because they're trying to get views and they got clickbait for some type of hustle they trying to promote. But then when it passes, nobody says nothing, and then they move on to the next hustle. Start holding people accountable when events like this come up, and then they start, hyping it up in regards to something it has nothing to do with. These eclipses happen. Study your solar biology. Study science. Okay, understand in relationship to where you are on the East Coast. If you're closer to the equator, you're going to see less of the moon covering the sun. Further out, the percentage of that increases. Okay, this is something that happens. Look, anything can cause solar flares or power outages. This, that, or the other. People always like to, if it's not this, it's the blood moon. If it's this eclipse, it's that. Y2K, May 5th, 2000, 2012. When are we going to stop falling for the bullshit and start understanding things for what they really are? Yes, it's a sign of the times. Yes, things can happen. But that can happen at any given time. Okay? But like I say, when there's a topic that's hot and it's trending, this is what they do. They run with it. So all I'm saying is hold people accountable. Stop letting people get away with the bullshit. Okay? And like I said, if you think it's doomsday and you're buying survival, you should have survival food. Okay? You shouldn't wait for something like this. Okay? But I want to dig, I want to probe a little bit further of what we are seeing. And the important thing to look at this from a spiritual perspective, within reason. Okay, we're going to start seeing more phenomena that appears or is out of the norm. And as they say, this is a sign of the times. We live in strange times, and that's not in a bad way. It goes to show you, and it confirms that the changes that need to happen are happening. Nature is going to go through its cycles and changes in its natural process, regardless of anybody's opinion. Okay? As I've mentioned many times before over the years, our planet, just like you are, is a living entity, a living, breathing entity that's full of life. Okay? And anytime, just like you, the body or the entity becomes infected with disease or infectious energy, it has to cleanse itself. Okay? So when you're seeing all these cataclysmic events, these phenomena in nature, even when it comes to the weather, what you are doing is you are seeing this entity, this living entity, the earth, cleansing herself. And I say herself because it's governed by feminine energy. It's throwing all things that's in its path, causing this out of its path. This is why when you really look over the last 10 to 20 years, especially when it comes to weather, you've seen tornadoes, tsunamis, Category 5 hurricanes, earthquakes. It's not to say that these things weren't happening before. This is why I say you got to reason things out. People act like, because look, you can find Category 5 hurricanes going back to the early 20s and 30s. Why is that? When you look at the cycle, for an example of the weather patterns, when it comes to these storms, notice the yearly cycles of when it's in a cycle of it's not as intense to when it's in a cycle of intensity when it picks up. And notice, if you really do your research, it repeats this process continually. There's some other dumb shit I always hear people say when a hurricane rips through the East Coast, and they say, oh, it starts out in Africa and it takes the path that the slave ships took. See, this is where I'm talking about you got to use common sense and reasoning. If you understand basic geography, and if you understand the climate, if you understand the waters and the land masses scientifically, that is where tropical storms and hurricanes begin. I know it sounds deep to say, well, it travels the path of the slave. That sounds deep to some people who are about as deep as a 2-inch glass of water. But it's just, that's just not the case when you reason it out. Okay? That's the path scientifically and geographically those storms are going to take. Yeah, I know some of the patterns go bizarre because some of them storms have now even reached as far north as Canada. Okay? So, again, confirming that Mother Earth, if that's what we want to call it, she is going through her changes, folks. This has been a gradual process over an X amount of years. It's not something that's just going to happen from one cataclysmic event or one particular moment that strikes this. We can see nature is changing. The question is, are you changing with nature? That's the question you should be asking yourself. Are you fighting this? Are you resisting this? Are you trying to find a way out? Are you trying to find an excuse, a crutch to lean on, like some cataclysmic end of the world event? Look, here's the reality, bottom line. I told you, if there was a meteorite coming towards this planet, or some aliens invaded it, or there was a nuclear missile coming right up, just put your head between your legs and kiss your ass goodbye. And just hope it's quick. Because I don't know why people are so bent on surviving through disaster. Okay? Because I'm not saying speed up the process of losing your life. But I'm also saying if something like that did happen, and hopefully it doesn't, but it can. If something like that did happen, what are you afraid of? You know what that's like? Let me tell you what that's like. And anybody that thinks like that and feels like that, I'm going to put you in this category. It's like, look at the Pope of the Catholic Church. Okay? And hopefully this sinks in. Maybe this point will be brought home. And I mentioned this on a live not too long ago, maybe a couple weeks ago. The Pope loves God so much. He's considered the vicar or the successor of Christ on earth, right? In the direct succession and line and lineage of the Apostle Peter, and this is Catholic doctrine because they believe, as Jesus said in the Bible, on the rock, which was Peter, he would build his church. So they believe the lineage of the Pope is in succession with the line of the Apostle Peter, who was the first Pope. And this is why popes take the name John Paul, Peter, Paul, Mary, whatever the fuck names they be taking. But you get the point. But this Pope, who is supposed to be, according to Catholic doctrine, the closest thing to God walking the earth and has the closest connection to the direct lineage of the apostles, on back to Christ, on back to the Heavenly Father, loves God so much and can't wait to join the kingdom of heaven that he drives around in a bulletproof Pope-mobile when he appears in public in large crowds. So what does that tell you? The Pope obviously is not too enthusiastic about meeting God, because if he was, he wouldn't be afraid to get assassinated or shot. Or he should believe in his mind he has the divine protection of the Heavenly Father and his Son. Now, you might be saying he's open, but does that mean you don't protect yourself from? Of course, we do that because we don't believe in that stupid ideology. But that can't be said for an individual in a position like that. It's not the same thing. Because if you have that connection to the Creator like you claim, you wouldn't need to drive around in a Pope-mobile with bulletproof glass. So it shows me you're more grounded in reality, and I have to question how much of that religious, faith-based doctrine do you truly believe in? Can't really believe in it at its core if you're driving around in a bulletproof Pope-mobile. Okay? That's my point. And now back to what I was saying. If some cataclysmic event were to happen, like any of the aforementioned I mentioned not too long ago, just embrace and be prepared. See, you know what the problem is with some people get lost? They spend all their life preparing for something that's not going to happen the way they think it's going to happen. And then their final end or destiny ends in a totally different fashion that they weren't even contemplating, because they were so caught up in conspiracy theories, spookism, and sensationalism and cataclysmic events. And it's sad because I know people who, it's crazy. I know a couple of people they got bunkers, this and that, and they've been preparing for the end since, I don't know, a long time now. And my thing is, what are you going to do if it does get to that point? Who wants to really, I'm just saying, who wants to really live through that type of shit? So to me, that's a stronger cry and a plea for somebody who fears dying. Now, again, I want to stress, I'm not saying speed up the process. I'm not saying do anything that's going to put you in a position where it can put you in danger like that. But what I am saying is not to live your life in fear. Okay? Don't live your life in fear, because fear is an emotion that can be very toxic, and it can destroy you and eat away at you from the inside out. They know this. Okay? This is why they have news outlets pumping out their information how they want it to get out. They do it intentionally, because if they can tap into your psyche in a strong aspect with the emotion of fear, they know they can control you. I've been teaching you guys this shit for years. Fear is the number one tool that is used to control the masses. And ignorance is right there side by side with it. Because people fear what they don't know. Okay? But it's easy to sell some people shit to instill that fear in them. So I don't care if it's the solar eclipse, the lunar eclipse, the blood moon, the blood bunghole, whatever the fuck it is. It doesn't change what you should be doing on your path to self-mastery. All it does is gives you helpful information of how you can continue to manipulate the vibrational frequency and energy that you're connected to, because that's what this shit is all about, vibrational frequencies and energies. When you understand real magic, you'll understand that on a greater level. Okay, this ain't no Harry Potter shit, hocus pocus, abracadabra. Well, there's little science to the abracadabra word. I'm not gonna get into that now, but you get my point. This is work for the big boys and the big girls. If you're not a big boy and a big girl, and you can't pull up your big boy drawers and your big girl drawers, this ain't the path for you. Okay? And if you're looking for the quick fix, this ain't the path for you. Find another path. Go back to doing something. There's no such thing in life in general as a quick fix for anything. Anybody that's looking for quick outs, quick fixes, they're usually very lazy, unsuccessful people. If you don't want to put no work in, no effort, no time and energy, that's what you're going to get back. And if you think you can go buy your way to success as far as going to priests and priestesses and gurus and swamis and bokors and voodooists and this, that, and the other, and you're going to pay them large amounts of money to fix all your fucking problems because you're too damn lazy to do it your damn self, because you don't want to take the time out to educate yourself and realize we all, if we apply ourselves right, have the ability to do this. If we apply ourselves right. I didn't say we all will successfully be doing this, because some people think they do and they don't, and they jack themselves up more. And then there's just some people who just straight up lazy, don't want to put the effort out, so they think they can pay somebody to do something that they need to do for themselves. It doesn't work like that, folks. I learned this years ago. That's why I left all the Mickey Mouse clubs and the groups and the orders and the spiritual systems and the hierarchies of these spiritual systems. And I'm done with that. I've embraced the fact, in its correct context, I am God. Sole controller and ruler over my universe and multiverses. It's that simple. Okay, I am God. And when I say that, if you're watching and maybe you're new and you stumble across it, I'm not that spooky ass mythological God that is indoctrinated you through monotheism. See, if you hear that word and you go, how can you say that? That's so blasphemous. I don't believe in your term of blasphemy. That's another religious term. I don't believe in your mythological, fictitious spook God. So what do I mean when I say God? And I've said this before and I'll say it again. Somebody who takes accountability, control, and responsibility for their destiny and is accountable for all of their actions, good and bad, and is a non-conformist and is laying out and designing their own personal path of self-mastery. That is my definition of a god or a goddess. Let me make that clear. Because people who aren't on the path hear that shit and they're judging it or they're critiquing it according to their religious beliefs. I don't accept your religious beliefs. So don't get offended by it. It's not meant to offend you. If it does personally, then that's on you. I don't believe in your concept of a spook god somewhere up there in the sky. So you can't judge me in accordance with something I do not accept as a reality. You can't do that. Just like most religious folks don't accept the doctrine that I teach. And guess what? I understand that and I'm okay with that. I cannot base my judgment on them on something that they do not embrace. So guess what? We agree to disagree. That's it. You go your way, I go mine. You stay in your lane, I stay in my lane, and everybody's happy. That's how that works. See how easy that is? That's it. But this is why things are changing. We're in a new day and time, a new era. A new spiritual cycle is upon us as we speak. So embrace it, folks. Don't get spooked out by it. Don't let people mislead you, misguide you, and hold people accountable for the bullshit that they spit about these things that they don't know what they're talking about. That's all I'm saying. All right? Other than that, I got to wrap it up. I'm at my destination. I hope this video helped you in some shape, form, or fashion. Again, as a reminder, if you need to reach out to me for a reading or a consultation, remember all the links, the direct link to the Primordial Chaos podcast, the social media pages, the direct link for my email address to sign up or send me information requesting a reading or a consultation, the direct link to the Primordial Chaos Patreon page to sign up for classes. All those links are in the description box of this video that you're watching right now. We will talk soon. Infernal blessings. I am out of here, folks.